How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of Frankenstein. He's one of the strangest tales ever told. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. Well, we've warned you.
Indeed, you have been warned. Welcome back to the Frankenstein Minute, the podcast where we dissect the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Tom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson. And we have reached minute 24 of the original Frankenstein. And this is a scene full of dials and Tesla coils and regular
Yes.
coils.
Yep.
And
Jacob's Ladder. And
there's a Jacob's Ladder.
I have names for some of this equipment.
Oh my God! So we have the same notes.
Do we?
So you've already mentioned the cosmic ray diffuser.
Yes.
Let's see if we have the same list.
Okay.
All right. I'll go.
You go.
Vacuum electrolyzer.
Yes.
Baratron. Wait a minute. Maybe we should explain what this is. So
There's
a gentleman by the name of Kenneth Strickfaden who is famous. This is his big moment in life. I've read a little bit about him. His life is, whatever. He's fine.
Yeah.
But then this day, he kind of set himself up for the rest of his life.
It did.
The rest of his life is about this moment in a way. Because
Basically,
he comes back for at least 3 more films.
Oh,
maybe
I think
4
it's
more
all
in
of
the
them.
series. I think it might be
all of them.
And definitely Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
Which was a big thing.
I got
but
a
even
list
then,
of
when he
some of
doesn't
the...
have, we'll go through that.
Yeah.
But then even when he's not doing that, he takes this equipment to schools.
You're right.
And talks to kids about
talks
it.
to kids about electricity.
What he is a guy, and we're gonna. I guess this whole minute is gonna be about him.
Right.
So we can talk more about it.
Oh
but
no,
this
I've
is
got
what
plenty
he's
of
done
other.
is- we got other stuff to talk.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
got
there's other
all
things. Yeah, I
kinds of
guess I got a
stuff.
couple of things. So what he is he's a guy who makes these gadgets.
Yeah.
And so the reason why these things have these silly names is because he made them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't mean anything
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. There's no cosmic ray diffuser in this really.
Well, at least not in 1931. There might be
vacuum-
now. I don't know.
There might be now. That's true. That could be.
Yeah.
Okay. So Baratron generator, lightning bridge.
Yep. Neutron.
Resonarium. I want to
Resonarium, yeah.
I don't understand
know what that is.
And then this one I think is interesting. Neutron analyzer seems like it could be a thing.
It could be
and
a
it
thing,
wouldn't
but it wouldn't look or sound
do
or
anything
behave like this.
Yeah. Roomba.
Roomba.
No, I'm just kidding. I
Yeah.
made that up. I don't remember.
There's also the Megavolt Senior.
Okay, so but it isn't. This is what I read: is that the Megavolt Senior
It's not.
in the
It's not
scene.
the same one. It's a different
So
version.
they just went. The way I saw it was he made the Megavolt Senior,
Yeah.
and they didn't use it in this film. They used something smaller, which
Yeah.
is essentially just a Tesla coil.
Tesla coil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tesla coil.
Yeah.
What's
So
a
you-
Tesla coil? It's just It's just a. So here's what I think a Tesla coil is. I have a
coil
degree in
inside of your-
electronics, so I'm going to use it.
There you go.
It was from so long ago. But what I think it is the way that you get electricity from one place to another. One of the ways to do it is through a coil. And what a Tesla coil does is it doesn't have the coil part. It actually goes through the air.
Oh, it's like the electric arc through the
It's
air.
an arc through the air. That's
Okay.
what I think it is.
Well, that's what it certainly looks like.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's 2 balls,
Yeah,
if you will.
if you will.
2 spheres.
Spheres.
With an arc between
An
it,
electric
an electrical arc
Yeah,
between it, and you
yeah.
see that off to the left side as the contraption is
Right.
making its way
So
up.
where did you find these names?
I found it in a book by Harry Goldman.
Oh, see, all right. We got
Called
the same.
Dr. Frankenstein's Electrician.
We've got the same
McFarland
book. See,
Press.
I thought I was like way off the deep end
Nope.
for buying this book.
No.
Okay,
I
okay.
bought that just for this
Yeah,
moment.
so did I actually.
Nice.
Yep. No,
All
I'm
right,
glad.
well,
I
all right.
Well, some of the other films that this equipment was used that we'll know of.
Yeah.
I mean, he did work on Wizard of Oz. you
Yeah.
know, Gone with the Wind. I mean, the list of credits at the end of the book is mighty impressive.
Okay.
And
I didn't see Gone with the Wind. I knew about Wizard of Oz.
No idea that he had his hand
Yeah.
in all this stuff.
Gone with the Wind, I wonder.
I think that was on there. Maybe I'm dreaming. But films that
Whenever you say Wizard of Oz, you just say Gone with the Wind. It just seems like
it's
they
just
should
sort of
be
were made hand in hand.
kind of
and
the
yeah,
same thing.
Yeah. Stuff that fans of this podcast, if there are any,
still anybody left.
Yeah.
If it's not just your phone downloading automatically.
Yeah, right. Dr. Cyclops from 1940.
Nice.
The Devil Bat.
Okay.
With Frankenstein's own Bela Lugosi.
There you go. Nice.
Yep. Man-Made Monster, 1941, the film that made Lon Chaney Jr. a star.
Yeah. Is he credited as Lon Chaney Jr. in
He
that
is, I believe, Lon Chaney Jr., and shortly thereafter they dropped the Jr.,
Yeah.
which he was not happy about. He wasn't happy about
Wasn't
going
happy
by
about Lon Chaney
Jr. anyway.
Creighton Chaney, right?
Yeah. The immortal Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter.
Nice.
One of the last
If you're
films...
going to make the immortal Jesse James versus Frankenstein's daughter, you got to call Kenneth Strickland.
you got to give
or why
Ken,
make
yeah,
it?
why would you even bother?
Yeah.
Which was one of the last films by William One-Shot Bodine.
One shot?
One Shot. The guy has like almost 300 director credits to his name. He was notorious for whipping these things out in a couple days.
Yeah.
He also did Billy the Kid versus Dracula, like almost simultaneously. And it shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dracula versus Frankenstein from 1971.
Okay.
The Al Adamson masterpiece, which features a little cameo by Forey Ackerman. It's I believe both Lon Chaney Jr. and J. Carroll Nash's final film.
Okay.
And you can hear J. Carroll Nash's dentures clicking as he talks.
Oof.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it's not good.
Blackula from 1972, which yes,
Man.
I have the
I didn't
DVD,
know.
so if you want to...
Oh, no. That's considered a blaxploitation
Oh, absolutely
classic.
it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it, supposedly the scenes with the equipment were shot in Strickfaden's garage.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if someone
That
can
sounds
verify
familiar. Is there
that.
something else that was shot in his garage, or did I make that up? Maybe
No, I
that's the one I'm
think
thinking of.
Brooks, when he contacted him for Young Frankenstein,
Did some test
said he
footage
had
or
all the stuff in his garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Young Frankenstein is probably the most famous post-Frankenstein
Yep.
series usage of it.
Yep.
Which put to good effect. And something called Frankenstein Island, which I have not ever seen. And probably could die a happy man not having seen yeah.
Frankenstein Island.
Yeah.
It's really a great thing because, and I think I sort of flipped through that book and they kind of said something to the effect of his work is as responsible as anybody's for the popularity of the film or whatever. And I say I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't quite, yeah.
But it's
it
absolutely awesome. And
yeah.
completely a big part of it.
It is a big, huge part of it. And they think they reference it as a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, you can't imagine this sequence without it, or this film series really without it. And clearly inspired by Metropolis, which we referenced before. It even calls it out in the script as looking like
Metropolis.
Metropolis, yeah.
Okay.
Certainly in Wales' version, I think the Florey and the Mary Shelley novel is pretty vague as to exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's
the novel is like frustratingly vague.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure was deliberate because she wasn't a scientist, and you know,
she had gone to see some galvanism.
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah, by what was his name? Galvani.
What would Galvani think of all this business?
Yeah.
You know what it makes me think of when we watch that just now. It peek behind the curtain again. We watch the minute before we do the minute, and it reminds me. I'm sure I mentioned this once, but when I was a kid, we had the little 8mm films.
Oh yeah.
And we'd pull the projector out, and it was so exciting to get that, and like to actually maybe that's something that a kid nowadays wouldn't even understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
I would actually take a reel of film, just it was maybe 2 minutes or I don't know, 5 minutes.
Well, it depends on because
some of them were a little bit.
I had a longer excerpt of this.
Okay.
I think I still have it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was about, I don't know, 8x8 inch reel.
Okay.
Or 8 inch diameter reel.
And you'd stick it on there, and it was, what else are they going to put in there? They're going to put this scene. They're not, they put a lot of this stuff in there. Yeah, mine had like the graveyard, this, and some stuff later on up to the climax. Yeah,
there's
some good stuff coming later.
Yeah.
I don't mean to make it sound like this is the climax of the film.
No, yeah, mine was about 10, 15 minutes long.
Okay, maybe that is right, what I'm thinking of. And
I
remember more specifically Bride. I think maybe Frankenstein got too fucked up and we didn't watch it as much. But I could maybe even pick out the beats of.
I could tell you what from both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
because we watched those over and over again.
Like
what happened to them? Probably sitting in a drawer at my mom's.
I've got them in a box in my basement. Yeah, along with Ken Strickfaden's equipment.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, you wonder what happened.
Mixing board at least.
You wonder what happened to all that stuff.
That's a good point.
Young Frankenstein.
Well, I would have guessed that he had it in his garage until he died, which was in the 90s or something.
90s, I think, early 90s.
And then it's probably still sitting in some storage space somewhere, collecting dust.
Some used store thing.
I did look it up though, and I did look up to try and see. I spent a few minutes prepping for this one. And I tried to find out, what is the cosmic ray diffuser? What is the neutron analyzer or whatever? And when I look at it, there are some things like on eBay, and I'd be like, wow, this
there's
an
a little
actual
model. Yeah,
so
a little
I click
scale
on
model.
it, and it's either scale model or there was at least one where they said it was something from the film, but when I clicked on it, I'm like, I don't even recognize this. It just looks like something that would be in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, you know how that works on eBay or wherever. They just say it's from Frankenstein. You go, well, I'm sorry, it's from Ghost of Frankenstein or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I beg to differ.
I beg to differ. Yeah. So Henry is smacking Fritz around a bit.
Well, first he says, get the batteries.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if this is how this stuff is powered.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that earlier. What's the power source?
There's no rural electrification program in Goldstadt out to the abandoned watchtower.
Not on the grid.
Not on the grid.
And Henry's
pushing him around, and then he comes around to go over to the area behind the body, I guess, to take over, I guess, for Fritz, because Fritz is not doing
he just shoves him out of the way.
He shoves him out of the way, and he does something, and then he reaches down, and he pulls a lever.
That's coming up. Yeah.
You got something before the lever?
I do.
There's a reason I pronounce it lever.
Lever, yes. That's how I actually wrote it. It's L-E-E-V-E-R.
That's right.
Yeah.
He pulls the lever.
But first he opens the roof.
Okay.
And
that's
Fritz,
what he's doing with the wheel.
He's doing with the wheel. He's opening the roof.
All right.
And Fritz is farting around with something.
So before this, Bowles was frightened by the lightning, even when it was closed. Is what you're telling me?
Yes.
Even when there was
it was just
roof.
coming in through the window. Yeah.
Just the thought of it.
Thought of it was too much for him.
Piss his pants. All right. Well, that's the character.
Well, then they do these cutaways to the three of them, and he looks bored to tears.
Yeah, he's not in it.
He's just like staring straight ahead.
It's noisy.
I don't like this. It's making me nervous.
Yep.
Whereas she looks kind of apprehensive. Her eyes are looking all over at what's going on, and Waldman is intensely curious.
Yes.
He's like, okay, maybe there is something to this.
Right.
But throughout, when they cut to them, and it is 2 or 3 times, Bowles is just expressionless.
Blank.
Yeah. He's a blank. Then he pulls the lever, which is on the floor.
Yeah.
He's bend over and pull this lever.
And while he's doing that, Fritz is just standing there staring at
it.
So once he pulls it, he stands up, looks at Fritz, and smacks him.
Smacks him out of the way.
Out of the way. What are you doing? Go do something, for Christ's sake.
What am I paying you for?
What am I paying you for? Yep. I love that. I mean, and it's all of that business. It plays out perfectly. They're really good at it. Like you were talking about Bowles. Every time he's on the screen, we make a joke. These guys, these two walking around, Henry looks like he does know what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he's very purposeful.
And Fritz is like nervous and like not sure what he
should be doing.
And he's going to get smacked, and that's what we want. That's why we're here.
That's what you're paying your money for.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
So then they slowly roll back the sheet.
They roll back, and you see that the skin that is exposed, his right arm, parts of his legs, the skin is very dark. It's referred to as being black in the script. It's not quite black. It's more like a charcoal.
Yeah.
But it's very dark, which will pay off later.
You're right. Yeah. we're so he's got some sort of makeup on his skin that makes it look dark.
Right.
We don't know what color it was in real life.
No.
But we will talk about what color makes him look a different way later.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So the thing of the way they draw it back, the way they do the sheet and they kind of roll it back is very dramatic. And compelling to watch.
Very deliberate, yes.
And very deliberate.
Yes.
But also, I guess it's a fire hazard. I mean, why are they bothering? You leave all the bandages on, but get these sheets off of here or this ain't going to work. Maybe it is. I think it's fire. Yeah.
Okay.
A fire hazard.
All right.
And we know, of course, who. I think we can reveal who's on the table. We can finally reveal.
It's finally who plays the monster.
It's Kenneth
Strickfaden. Yes.
Did you know I was going to say that?
Yes, I did. Because it's been written about a lot.
And generally, it's been written that it's not true.
Oh, is that right?
Right. Well, isn't that the idea? I think that. So one of the places what I read was that either Strickfaden would say this, but he was lying, or else it's more likely that he did double for the lead actor in The Mask of Fu Manchu in similar circumstances.
Right. Now, I
being
heard
a guy around all this electrical equipment.
He was used to it, and it didn't frighten him like it did.
Yeah.
The layman. Now, I've heard both.
Okay, so let's go with this is him.
Well, yeah, because I've heard
the hand.
Because the actor on the table that we presume to be on the table didn't want to do it because of the arc and the sparks flying and
let's list all the reasons you wouldn't want to do it.
You're going 30
This
feet up in
fucking
the
rickety,
air, rickety old
bed
wiggling as it goes up.
Yeah, it's
I
just shaking as it goes up.
no fucking way.
Yeah,
would I?
No
do that
way.
either.
And you got to think in 1931, safety was like 8th on the list.
Oh,
Safety is our number 7 priority.
This film in particular, there's horror stories
Yep.
of
But not in this part.
Not in this part. I've never heard anybody getting hurt. But
Can you imagine that thing just come crashing down?
Oh,
oh
God.
shit! And you're strapped
you're
to the
strapped
table.
down, wrapped up. Yeah,
Blind.
Your face is covered. Yeah.
God.
No, thank you.
Strickfaden's like, yeah,
whatever.
That's fine.
Yeah,
No
okay.
problem.
And we don't see the exposed shoe.
No, but what you do see is these big rectangles.
Rectangles.
So
There's feet.
this is what I think is that the person that's there has normal sized feet.
Yeah.
So they made these big rectangles to make them look like big feet.
They got them from Patterson, who did the Bigfoot film.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that is what it is?
Yes, I think it's supposed
to think that's
that is because there's a publicity drawing. I've got it in a book somewhere.
Okay.
It's kind of like a shot in Young Frankenstein where the feet are in the foreground, and Henry and Fritz are kind of in the background, looking towards the spectator.
Oh, okay.
And the feet are bare, and they're huge, big bare feet. So somebody at Universal drew this.
Yeah.
Based on which would explain the shoes later on.
Well, yeah, I was going to say later we'll see the big shoes.
The asphalt spreader. Boots,
another thing that I noticed about this is the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this minute in particular and this scene in general is. So we talked about that. At one point, they released the soundtrack, a Rob Zombie compilation, and one of the tracks is just this.
Just a bunch of noise.
Lightning and
buzzing,
buzzing and cracking and
clanking
and smacking and
Whereas lots of great dialogue scenes are just thrown out.
Yeah,
not even put on there. Which the whole of Frankenstein is very perfunctory.
Yeah.
Whereas the better part of the disc is devoted to Bride and Son
and if I was putting it together, I don't know how I would have done it, but I could imagine that trying to break down Bride might be more difficult if you're a Bride fan because it's all great.
It's all great.
Yeah. What you don't see in this scene is smoke.
Right.
I've thought about this. It seems like if you asked me to do this,
it'd be smoke everywhere.
It would be smoke. There'd be fire.
Something would be on fire. Yeah.
No one would survive Bill Evenson's Frankenstein.
They're all locked in anyway.
Yeah, they're all locked in.
That place goes up, man.
But there's not a lot of smoke. You got to think it smelled fucking just
you get that
like crackling,
sort of acrid, burning electronic smell.
And now you've made me think about how the place smelled anyway.
Prior,
because of Fritz, obviously.
Well, Fritz,
but mostly Fritz.
mostly Fritz.
But partly the body and
all
the bodies,
the various components.
And he's got those like chemicals and shit.
Well, he's mixing something earlier.
Yeah,
and he says no blood, so I'm not sure of.
He probably poured the blood right down the drain. It's just sitting there.
Yeah,
blood all over.
All that blood down the drain. He does something that makes the table start to rise.
So this is you're like leading into what I was going to say. Is nobody does anything. The bed rises.
He does something.
He does something
upstage, but then it goes.
There's nobody like turning a wheel while it's going. There's nobody cranking anything.
So there's some machinery.
They're both just standing there.
There's some machinery somewhere.
Yes.
Making this happen.
Yes, and they're just watching.
They just watch.
At that point, they're done.
Well, you wonder if they've had a dry run, or if you've done this before and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, he does say this time.
This time. This time we're ready.
Yeah, this time we're ready. Last time.
Fucking
bed came crashing down.
We don't go into.
Fritz stood upright.
He was
time,
he
didn't
have
got
that.
By that
he
bed
didn't have that hump on his
back.
The Flory script says the legs of the table telescope up to 15 feet.
The legs of the table telescope.
Yeah.
That would be silly.
I thought so too. It sounds like a Buck Rogers thing more than a Frankenstein thing. Yeah, and maybe because this is again such a part of our collective subconscious. Mm-hmm. Seeing that table rise up with the chains and everything.
It's how it should be.
It's how it's supposed to be, whether it is or not. It's just how we're
That's probably, you and I in particular probably bring a lot of that.
Yeah.
We think this movie's perfect.
Yeah.
So there's no way you can convince us
What
otherwise.
are you talking about?
Legs
telescope. Come on. What are you, 6?
Idiot.
Come on.
6. Yeah, it's really amazing no one was killed by this lunatic Strickfaden. Can you imagine, like, he just came in there and he said, yeah, I got this. I totally got this.
I got a garage full of...
And, yeah, I got a garage full of fucking... I don't really... Yeah, how did they find him, I guess? He must have done little things. That's right, he did some little stuff for other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, I got this. I got 50 things.
Yeah. What do you need? I got... Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
You want a neutron analyzer? Yes, I think I do want that.
Roomba, I've got that.
Yeah, everything.
Well, in the book that we referenced, there's drawings and like schematics that he has in the back, and fascinating. But
you think about how many people have been killed making movies, by people that probably should have known what they were doing much later. Like this week, probably somebody stunt person fell off of something. And Strickfaden, with all of this business.
I don't ever recall.
Haven't heard of anybody getting burnt. Probably burnt.
I'm sure there were minor things.
Burns.
But nobody caught fire.
Right.
And you referenced Mask of Fu Manchu. That's a pretty impressive scene that you're talking about, where there's a huge arc going across a room, and he's holding the sword in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to be in the same building as that.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. I was 60 feet away, and I ran.
And
it was
pissed
not
my
far
pants
enough.
Yep.
And Bowles... Well, that's a good point right there. Bowles who can't handle a little bit of lightning.
Yeah.
Which is just somebody flashing a light, I suppose.
You can hear it start to buzz.
Yeah.
As it flashes. It's just somebody, arc light being turned on and off.
Strickfaden, maybe.
Maybe.
I suppose that'd be part of the special effects.
That or the lighting crew, yeah.
So then this bed, it's just exactly the right size for the hole in the ceiling.
It is.
I guess. Like you said, he opened up the ceiling. They built it this way.
So I think he retrofitted this place.
Okay.
Because it's a feudal medieval structure.
Right.
That brings back to Fritz's hygiene is, where do they go to the bathroom and what do they do for water? But minor points.
What do they do for water?
Because they're up on a hill. There's not going to be a running...
Yeah, they're not on city water.
They're not.
It could be a well, I guess.
It might be.
It could be well water.
It might be.
Right now, they could be collecting rainwater because, as we know, it's raining. There's a bit of a storm.
Yes.
It's going to be a great one.
Storm.
It's going to be a great storm.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Is that the word?
Brilliant storm. This time, with all the forces of heaven or something like that.
All the forces of heaven.
Yeah.
We'll see how it turns out.
This time they're ready.
For a spine-tingling, nerve-shattering podcast featuring all your favorite monsters. You won't believe your ears when you listen to Monster Kid Radio. Hear your host, Derek M. Cook, and his ever-rotating stable of guests discuss your favorite classic and sometimes not-so-classic monster movies. Subscribe to Monster Kid Radio through iTunes or Stitcher, or visit monsterkidradio.net before the next weekly episode of Monster Kid Radio. Go through the archives for interviews with Sarah Karloff, Victoria Price, and Joel Hodgson. Listen to discussions about movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Island of Terror, and King Kong. And don't forget convention coverage from Monster Bash and the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival. Classic monsters, modern talk, and the head of Rondo Hatton, only on Monster Kid Radio!